Hello, everybody. Welcome back to. We're going to be making another campaign for Total War Warhammer. I'm the Strategy Professor, and I have a special treat in store for you here. I just installed the Locarion More Factions mod, and I'm actually going to be playing some Kraka Drak this time. So I was looking out, trying to find, like, what is the most challenging thing I can find here. Now, I'm doing a campaign also with Musalon. And I think that's the only other new one that I'm trying out. I'm also doing a Chaos campaign at the same time right now. I wanted to finish just one at a time, but I just can't help myself. I want to try out some of these new things. This looks like a really cool mod. I don't have anything else. I don't have the Better AI mod. I don't have a lot of the other mods. I don't agree with a lot of the balance changes that they made there. I think some of them make the game much easier. So I just want access to the new faction, and it doesn't add any, or at least a very limited amount of other mods. Now, I don't know why Border Princes are listed as hard, but I could try out the Border Princes if people are interested in that. But I'm definitely doing Kraka Drak. So Kraka Drak, in my mind, seems to be the hardest one possible that I could think of, for several reasons. Obviously, it's really close to Chaos, and it's not a Chaos faction, right? So they're going to be massive public order problems, especially on Legendary, which is what I'm playing it on. Gonna be massive public order problems constantly. You're just gonna get, I haven't played it yet, but I can just imagine just waves and waves and waves of scaling, Varg, and just all this other garbage just constantly at your door. Just massive public order problems. Really hard to take over provinces and keep them because there's gonna be rebellions all the time, and just trying to push forth and win just seems pretty dang sweet. So I want to give it a try. Now he gets plus 10% ambush chance, which is pretty good, and income from sacking is plus 25%, which is really good because I'm gonna be doing a lot of sacking probably. So there'll be a lot of fights in this campaign. So let's go ahead and get going. So Legendary, as I said, this just has kind of a placeholder. Obviously he's not going to create new like cinematics and stuff for the mod. Let's go ahead and get in there. I'm going to skip it. It's just the Warhammer standard introduction cinema thing there. But yeah, we're going to try to just take over the world like we do in all of our campaigns. We might see if we can get some confederations with the normal dwarves. Hopefully it doesn't crash. If we do that, I'd read on the forum somewhere maybe it crashes, but I think they fix it. And this mod has been around for a while now. They've been adding to it over time. Midland is another one that's kind of interesting. I really wanted there to be like a Kislev mod. I know I had a viewer that specifically wanted Kislev, and I know we have lots of Russian viewers out there, so I would love to do Kislev. I love the accents, if for nothing else. But yeah, so this is Kraka Drak. So we start off like almost literally on the front door of where Chaos spawns eventually. So you can't get much more rowdy than that. And all of these factions are, maybe not Kislev. We might be able to be friends with Kislev. We'll see. But we need to try to get all these ports. That's number one, because ports are money. And we're going to need that money. So we want to try to get to the ports. Okay, so his tree is basically the same as almost every other tree. He has plus 5 melee attack, which is good. And just remember, our passive is ambush chance and income. Now, the public order you can see is starting to be in the gutter. The local populace is 3 corruption. There's a lot of corruption. So we'll see which of these. The reduction in corruption. So how corruption works, if you haven't ever figured this out, if it's ever been a mystery to you, they take whatever the number is of the local population or other influences on a province, and then they take the corruption and the non-corruption, and they divide them against each other, and that's the percentage. So if it's just 3 local population, then that means it's going to be 100% because there's no untainted influence there. But if we get 3 untainted, then it's 3 to 3, so it's going to be 50% corruption. And I think it's something like, I don't remember the exact number, but it's something like every 10 corruption is 1 public order. We're not getting any right now, so maybe it's every 12 is 1 public order. Either way, it's somewhere around, oh, there's none there right now. It's somewhere around every 10 is one public order. And it starts giving you attrition also. So if your units walk through there and they aren't in specific stances, then they're going to lose units over time. So corruption's really bad. And it regenerates anything that regenerates on corruption. So Chaos, Beastmen, all of these factions are going to regenerate a lot, replenish, if they're on corruption. So anyways, it's going to be a big problem. All these places are going to have an innate, like, million corruption, so it's going to be really hard to overcome that. So how are we going to do it? What's our strategy? Alright, so I'm not going to read all of these over again. Watch my normal dwarf campaign if you want. There's 50 or 60 episodes on that. I've kind of just put that on pause for several months now and worked on other things, but I'm going to come back to it maybe eventually. People wanted to see a lot of the new factions, and I think people wanted to see like a new challenge, and so that's what this is. I'm trying to go for the challenge. So what do we want? We're going to go for missile stuff, probably ASAP. And the reason is the missile infantry, that's going to be our backbone. That's how most dwarves get the vast majority of their kills, especially early in the game, is quarrelers. Quarrelers and rangers are a really, really big deal. So I'm going to try to go for that. Now, Thunders I haven't been as impressed with, honestly, because it's just so hard to get them to fire. They can't fire over stuff because they don't have an arcing shot. So any kind of hills or if anything's in the way, it just kind of sucks, the straight shot Thunders. Like, they're good against monsters because they obviously get to fire up at them and flying things, but otherwise they're not as great. So we're going to get probably Masterwork crossbows, missile damage. Another thing we could do is the Dwarf Warriors right here. This is really powerful. So we're going to get the stuff for Dwarf Warriors and Thunders. Or not Thunders, Quarrelers. That's the big ticket. So that's good as well. Armor. I mean, the armor doesn't matter as much because you already have so much armor, but the melee defense is really good. That's okay. It's not really that great. Then we'll probably chill right there. We're not going to get Longbeards for a while. I mean, that's a pretty good thing. But you see, it starts to go up significantly. So this is 3 and then 4, 5, 6 turns as you move up and up and up. Now, some people have questioned me in past campaigns, well, why do you start with the Dwarf Warrior stuff? Why do you start with the combat stuff rather than, going for things like income from settlements or, tool makers, income from tool makers, or how about going for growth? Obviously, growth is really good. So you could go out and go to heavy cornerstones or, some of these other ones, trade tariffs, diplomatic. This diplomatic we will try to get to pretty quickly because we're going to need to try to get trade going as fast as we can with people. And we want to try to get some alliances with dwarves if we can around the map. Get some confederations going. But why is that? Why do I start with the military? Okay, there's several reasons why you want to upgrade your tier 1 units before you go into this stuff. First of all, we don't make that much money from towns. That just, as a flat number, we just don't. Like, all we're getting right now is 820. So if I get, even plus 10 income from towns, which I think that's just from towns. Okay. No, there's some from Gem Minecraft here, so that means it's only 500 from towns, right? Yeah, it's 500 from towns right now because that 300 doesn't count as town income. So if we look at the text here, income from settlements, I would get 15%. That sounds awesome, right? But in reality, if I only have 500 right now, that's really only going to give me 75 gold per turn, which is not really that big of a deal. On the flip side, 10% extra damage is a really big deal for units that are going to do a ton of damage. And plus 20% ammunition is basically 20% more damage if you use all of your ammo. And that 15% firing power is, in many respects, 15% more damage. Because you don't get more firing power, but you throw it out there faster. So either way, I mean, this is going to be somewhere at least 30% extra damage. And depending on the situation, it could be even more. So if you have 30% extra damage, then that means you can run 30% less units and still have the same effectiveness. So for instance, if you had 18 units in a stack, you could run 12 1/3 less. And so you're basically taking away 6 units that you need there. So if we look at how much this costs, let's look at how much units cost, like Quarrelers. Okay, their cost is 137 gold. So 137 gold times 6. What is that? Like 800 something? Say 42, 600, 780 plus 42 is 822. So you save 822 gold if you get those first 2 Quarreler upgrades. 822 gold per turn versus 75 gold per turn. I think you can see really quickly why having a more efficient army saves you more money in the long run, because you don't need as many units. However, you can crank it up and go more units, and if you go more units, that means you can actually fight battles that you otherwise would not be able to win. So you can actually go out and conquer more territory, you get more ports, all of those give you more money. So you can kind of see how it goes. It gives you a lot more flexibility than going for the civics until you get a lot of towns. Now, if we get enough towns, you know, if we get to 10,000 gold from settlements, which means we would control 15 provinces or something like that, then yes, the civics one do start adding up. Because if you had 10,000 gold worth of towns, you get 1,500 or 15% more. That's 1,500 gold. So of course that's going to be worth it. But right now, for it to equal that, whatever number I just said, around 800 gold, I don't even know. You'd need somewhere around, let's see, 500 for one province times 10. You know, you'd need to control somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 provinces before they would equal out and be worth it, even just from a financial perspective. That's not even including being able to create a powerhouse army that can beat armies you would otherwise not be able to beat. So that's how you need to think of it. It's not just that you're increasing your military power. You're actually increasing how much money you make because you don't have to spend as much money. You're saving upkeep because you can run less units and get the same combat effectiveness out of them. The same is true of Dwarf Warriors when you upgrade them, because they are very, very efficient. So, I mean, for instance, like adding extra 5 melee attack to Dwarf Warriors and 5 defense. So their overall melee attack and defense is pretty low to start with. So it's 62. So adding an additional 10 combat effectiveness is about 17% gain in overall combat effectiveness. So that means you could run 17% less dwarves and have the same combat effectiveness. So if you're going to run 10 dwarf warriors, you could cut roughly 2 of them out, and that would save you 200 gold per turn. So that one tech there, that's a 3-turn tech, could save you somewhere in the neighborhood of 150 to 250 gold per turn. So that's roughly 2 to 3 times what the 15% income from settlements would get me right now. So I just want to explain that because people always ask me, they're like, why do you start with this stuff? Isn't all of this stuff better? No, it's not. Not early on in the campaign. I will get the stuff, but not until later. So you want to upgrade your tier 1 units first, and you want to work off of your tier 1 units as long as possible. You don't want to go for the Longbeards ASAP, because if you can get Dwarf Warriors upgraded to where they're just as efficient as Longbeards, once again, you don't have to upgrade to Longbeards, because the Dwarf Warriors are going to be just as efficient. They have a much lower upkeep, so you're saving money by doing that. Trust me, there's just a lot of reasons. But I wouldn't upgrade the combat past this right here. Like, I wouldn't go over and start doing Volatile Fire or even these things, because it just takes too much time to do it. So it's efficient doing it to maybe the 12 slot on some of these. But then after you do that, then you need to come over here and start getting the public order stuff and all of this kind of good stuff. Now, the Chaos Corruption I'm obviously very interested in. That rat poison is very expensive, but I assume that's kind of a nod to Skaven coming in eventually. But yeah, I mean, you know, this stuff takes 65 turns, so it's not worth it. You want to go laterally, or I guess vertically in this sense. You want to get a lot of stuff from both schools on this side because they're just fast. They're just very efficient for the amount of research that it takes. So that's where we're going with the research. As far as the skill goes, yeah. Now his skill. Now I think they've changed stuff around. No, it's roughly the same as where it was. Now, they don't have anything. Lightning Strike is something we're very, very interested in. Research rate's good. So we don't really need to upgrade this stuff over here. This is something that I did in my first Dwarf campaign. It was kind of a... That was my first campaign that I did on the channel. And it was kind of a rookie error, is I wanted to upgrade the high tier stuff. So I wanted better Longbeards, Hammers, and Ironbreakers and Slayers. When really, you're not going to have a lot of units of those. At least not for a while in the campaign. So you really don't need to go over to tier 2. And they nerfed Stand Your Ground a very long time ago to where it doesn't give melee attack anymore. So that's just not really worth it anymore. And Iron Drakes are pretty garbage from what I've seen. Cannons and organ guns, I mean, they're okay, but that's not really where you want to be. And the gyrocopter stuff, that's okay. But yeah, so we're not going to go to that. However, Axe Lord is still one of the best skills in the game. I mean, there are things that are better. There's some really, really powerful skills out there for some of the factions, most notably the Goblins and the Wood Elves with some of their stuff. But still, Axe Lord is amazing. You want that. It makes your Dwarf Warriors and your Miners much, much better in combat, which, for the reasons I just described, is awesome. That means they're much more viable for longer in the campaign, which means you save a lot of money. And Tactician is amazing. So that's for Quarrelers, Thunders, and Grudge Throwers. 12%, 12%. So that's pretty good. And Obstinacy is very good. Vigor Loss is a huge deal. Dwarves get tired very quickly because they wear a lot of armor. And that means they lose a lot of their melee attack. They lose a lot of their melee defense. They run slower. There's just a lot of bad things that happen when your units get tired. So getting that is going to be really good too. Or the Deeps, not really that good. Now, these things kind of suck, to be honest. They're not that great. I mean, Root Marcher and Pure Beard are okay. This first tier is really bad, though. I mean, Mason is okay. But Lightning Strike is amazing. You have to have Lightning Strike. In almost every campaign, you need Lightning Strike. It means you can attack one army without that army being able to reinforce. It's a really, really big deal to be able to do that. Because when you start getting these death stacks of chaos that come at you with 4 or 5... stacked up together, there's no way you're going to beat that with a single dwarf army or two. You have to be able to lightning strike them down. So that's a big deal. The replenishment from Inspirational Leader is pretty good. And Inquiring Minds is good. The dwarves have probably the best techs in the game. If not the best, it's certainly up there. They have a lot of different things you can do with their techs. So there's a lot of stuff to research. So that's where we're going to go. Now, I think I eventually want to go with the Runesmith guy. They have a specialty for... See if there's any good ones here. That's okay. These guys are a little bit less combat effective, but they have a... instead of the Quarrelers getting, I think, 12% extra damage, it's the Rangers get 25% extra damage on their shots, which is what we want. And they can get this cool chair that adds good buffs. They have a lot of good magics. They have much better skills than the traditional Dwarf Lord. Even though they're not quite as combat effective, they're good enough. So I think we're definitely going to be going the Rune Lord route. Okay. So all that's out of the way. We don't have grudges yet. Now we have to figure out where we're going to go and what we're going to do. I think knocking out these ports is a good idea. These seem to be low-hanging fruit. Now, in the town itself, we have to... Okay, we definitely want Quarrelers ASAP. And we want to get our way up here to the Rangers. But it's going to be a little bit before that happens. Why do we get so much growth? Guess just the buildings? Oh, this... Yes, we want these Dwarf Wharfs. I mean, the Wharfs are okay. I don't think upgrading that... That's not worth it. 150... Well, I mean, it'd take 20 turns to be worth it. And we've got to be able to sell all those gemstones with trade. It's 150 per turn. 10, 15. How much money do we have? I guess we can get it. We can go ahead and get it. At level 2, it takes 20 turns to pay for itself, but eventually that'll be worth it, especially if we can actually sell those gems. So we'll get those 2. And then we want to upgrade this and get to Rangers ASAP. That's the #1 priority. Eventually we want to get to gyrocopters with Brimstone as fast as we can. That's how we're going to cut through like Chaos Warriors and stuff with a lot of armor. You can also try to do that with hammers, but they're very expensive compared to Brimstone, and they're just not as effective at doing what I want them to do. I mean, they're okay. They're okay. But they're pretty expensive, and we're not going to have a lot of upgrades for them early on in the game. And those Brimstones just have so much utility because the Dwarves don't really have cavalry. So you need flying units, you need that speed, you need to be able to get in there and crack the armor of some of these things. And the Brimstone guns are just how you do it. That's really cheap for those units too. Like, those things are really strong. I mean, the steam cannons are okay. You can get those without having an engineer, which is nice. The Iron Drakes, I don't know. I haven't... It's really hard to reposition them because they're so slow, like 26. I just don't think they're going to be that great. Unless they've changed something about them. The Iron Drakes, I really wanted to be cool, but they don't function nearly as well as I thought they would. Like, they have some serious like line of sight firing issues and things like that, and they have very low health. I don't think they're that great. Organ gun's okay. It's really nice piercing. I mean, artillery is good against missile infantry, and the Norse people just aren't going to have a lot of good missile infantry. Like, it would probably be pretty good against the elves down the line, having things like organ guns and cannons and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, this might be really good against the dwarves, like that flame, or the elves, the flame cannon. Gyro Bomber still just has too little health. Like, why does a flying monster basically only have 2200 health? I mean, yeah, it fires pretty well, and that's cool and everything, but it's relatively slow for a big flying unit, and it just doesn't have a lot of health. Like, why doesn't that thing have like 4,000 or 5,000 health? It should be like a battleship. But anyways, so that's where our strategy is. Okay, and I think going to war with Varg and cleaning this stuff up first would be the easiest, and then we can come over here and start messing with Varg in that direction too. Well, I don't want to go that fast. Well, yeah, I do. Let's just go get him. And then I'm going to need another army. I'm going to need at least 2. Now, is that going to... Yeah, it's attrition. Okay, I don't think I can hit him up next turn. We'll see. Oof. It's going to be rough. It's going to be rough. Alright, let's go ahead and hire. Don't want that. That looks pretty good. Okay, so if I'll just show you his thing just really quickly. Now, this Anvil of Doom does slow him down a little bit, but it gives him a lot of leadership, extra melee defense, extra charge, which is okay. But I can't see what it's going to give me over here, but I see the icons. It looks like it's going to give me physical resistance, which is good, and whatever that other little icon to the far right is. I'm not sure what that is, but I assume it's some kind of aura probably. So that's pretty cool that he gets a mount. And then up here you get these runes, which are pretty nice. So makes everyone immune to psychology. And yeah, these runes are really good. Now, these also stack because they're master rune, and it took me a while to realize that with the dwarves. So if you get normal runesmiths, you can stack this rune with the normal runesmiths rune to get a double effect, which is really powerful. I believe, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I believe you can stack the master rune plus the normal rune and get the same effect. So you want to go definitely for this is good, and then working your way to this Wrathen rune is very good. That helps you deal with really pesky things that are difficult to take down, especially things like wraiths, like Cairn Wraiths and other things that have high physical resistance, because the dwarves don't have a lot of magic. It's hard to get around physical resistance sometimes. So this Master of Wrath and Ruin helps out with that. So we're still not going to, you know, rush this or anything, but it's pretty nice. So after something like Lightning Strike, we might go up there and get it. I think getting 1 point in this is definitely worth it. It's just a constant, everyone's immune to psychology, which is going to be helpful. And everyone has 100% charge resistance. But Axe Lord's the same, all of this stuff the same. Tactical Acumen, though. Plus 12% ammo for Rangers and plus 25% damage for Rangers. That's really, really good. That's a lot of damage. So that's something we're definitely interested in. Ward of Cranks. Reclamation. Huh. Oh, I see. So they don't have the bonus to hammerers. Okay, I just noticed that. They do get a plus 15 charge bonus on things, which... maybe for like... and maybe that's okay with like hammers. I don't know. It doesn't seem that great. Missile damage for Organ Gun, Iron Drake's Cannon, Flame Cannon. Is that what that other guy's is called? Is it called Ward of Cranks? No, it's called Thunder. Iron Drake's Cannon, Flame, Organ. 12-12. Guess that's Longbeards. Ironbreakers, Slayers. I mean, having that on Slayers would be pretty nice. That is a more difficult trade-off. I still think I like the Runesmiths more, though. That 25% missile damage is just so big. So even though that's called a different thing, I think that's fine. Also, the upkeep reduction is a really, really big deal if we get a unit of a ton of Rangers. So there's definitely some trade-offs here. You're not going to have as big of a melee army, but your Rangers are going to bust some butts when you get them. And you get just a bunch of extra stuff. Yeah, I think I like them more. Even though, now, what is his, so his stats are 3,900, 120 with 45 combat effectiveness and weapon strength of only 288. It is time. So he has 4,400 health, 420 with 110 combat effectiveness. Yeah, so these things are way, way better at normal fighting. So I don't know, it's balanced. It creates some good strategic choices. What is this specialty thing these guys have here? What is that? Oh, marked by Ulthar. Interesting. So it makes something very vulnerable to being shot. Power of the Dragon Pack. Flammable. Well, I don't get it. I don't know, whatever. Yeah, so we may not need to get a Slayer Den or whatever. Because we can just get 1 unit of Slayers off of that. We'll see. Let's go ahead and hire some stuff here. We'll just do Dwarf Warriors. These guys have nice armor piercing, but their melee attack and defense is really low. But I mean, their piercing is undeniable. That's a lot of pierce against heavily armored stuff. But we're actually not going to be going against heavily armored stuff. Yeah, let's go with normal Dwarf Warriors.
Can I help you? Summon me if you dare.
Alright, we'll go to the next turn. Oh, we have commandments. I forgot about that. Could go for more recruiting. 10% cost for all buildings. How much is this costing me? It's like... So I could wait a turn. And then build all of those. That would save... How much is this costing me right now? 2,000, 4,000. So that'd save me 400 gold if I did that. Then I have to wait to get quarrelers. And get an extra 150 faster. Whatever. We'll just let's go ahead and buy it. I don't want to wait on the quarrelers. Basically, I would take 250 gold for waiting another turn to recruit quarrelers, and I don't want to do that. I want those quarrelers going. Even though, you know, they're not the greatest with this guy, I still need at least some of them. Okay, so what do we want as a province then? Growth, probably. I think it's growth because we're not going to be building things for a little bit. Once we can build, then we'll switch back over to the construction one.
Yes.
Alright. Okay. We're working the right thing, right? Yes.
Time for a reckoning. I suppose. On to glory for the ancestors.
Really? That's as far as he can move? Come on now.
Northbound. Armed and ready.
It's 100% corruption. Whew, it's gonna be rough.
Onward.
And what are they? What kind of garrison do they have? Winter Pyre. Ugh, it's way over there. I don't know where Altar of Spawns is.
What? If you say so, beardling.
Now I want to play nice with Kislev.
For the wisdom of the layer.
Oh, come on, guys, for real, you can't get over there? Okay, I can do it. Okay, so let's see if anyone will pay us. Who are they at war with? They're not at war with anybody. Non-aggression, can we trade with them?
Welcome to Kislev.
I should have tried to trade
Listen
before.
to your proposal now.
Okay, cool. Damn it, I should have done that a couple turns ago. Could have made more money. Oh well.
Onward. Bring them. Tard them.
Yeah, we're just gonna auto-resolve it because we're gonna murder him. I mean, this guy's the legendary lord too, so I forgot that that's what he is. So that's why his stats are, of course, gonna be a little bit better than a normal dwarf warrior. So it's not really fair to compare a runesmith to him or a rune lord to him. Could just occupy. However, getting that money, since I get so much extra from sacking, might be a good idea. Although I will take some attrition by doing that. Probably. If I take it, I could get a building, but it'll take me one more turn. Okay, so if I don't get it this turn, I'm not gonna get like 300 in upkeep. I think I just gotta sack it. I need money. Okay, I do have enough to take it back this turn. That's good. Right, we want Root Marcher first. Campaign movement speed, huge deal.
To war! Ready axes! As the High King commands.
Negative 20 for the corruption. How much is it? So it's 680 to repair it. Okay, so really I'm only going to net 500. Well, how much is it giving me per turn? It's only giving me 100. Yeah, so I want to repair it.
What?
Okay. This public order is gonna be a deal and a half. Okay, so winter. They got nothing over there.
Master of runecraft. For Kalazankor.
Yeah, let us occupy that.
Okay.
No point in smashing up the port.
Vengeful Rune Lord.
Now, is there anything in the Civics tree for, like, ports? It's probably pretty far down here if it is. Trade agreements. I mean, that's pretty good for capital settlement buildings being 2 turns faster. Yes, I don't have anything for ports. All of these are for tool makers, which are just the gold unit things, and this is just for settlements. So a lot of those have quite a bit of stipulations to them. It's all very specialized. Okay. I think that's all good. Yeah, we're just gonna save up to get to that. Alright. I think that'll do it. Let me see if is there anything else we can do with these people.
The Tsarina empowers me to...
Do they like that I'm beating up on Varg? Yes, they like that. Varg doesn't like it. Dang, they're really weak right now. I should be able to just steamroll them. It's just gonna be that public order. So I'm just gonna have a bunch of armies just sticking around, probably. What do we want next? Do we want 10% damage, or do we want to go for Renowned Deadeyes? I think I want to go for Renowned Deadeyes. Just so that whenever I hire any new guns... Well, let's go ahead and grab this first. That 10% extra damage is a big deal. Then we'll go for Renowned Deadeyes, and then Volley Fire, and then we'll start getting the Dwarf Warrior stuff.
Summon me if you dare.
Oh, I forgot. Let me see.
Yes.
This makes me immune to attrition, right? Yeah. Okay, so I can... There we go. You can't just walk normally because the attrition's going to destroy you up here. Oh, they get +9 leadership.
Lord of Clan Mordred.
Oh, there's ultra spawns. Okay.
My anger burns bright.
Now, do we have... Okay, we can get Quarrelers here, so we're going to need to get some Quarrelers.
What do you want? tools.
High seas. Is that like attrition or something? I don't know. Okay. Yeah, so those already have all their buildings. They got the ports and everything. I mean, they're earning me like 280 gold per, which is not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. Okay. Yeah, public order problems everywhere.
For the wisdom of the layer.
Like I said, I mean, this is kind of reminding me of Vampire Count's campaign, where you're probably just going to have to, like, chill for quite a while and try to get the public order under control.
Let us settle this.
I'll see if I can get a good fight in this episode. It might take us a little bit before we can get a good fight going. Yeah, I think we just got a sack.
Shoulder axes, lads. We move.
Nice. Regiment of Renowned action.
My axe thirsts for war. Attack! Very well. Time for a reckoning.
Root Marcher, and then we're gonna go... We might actually go Axe Lord next. I think we'll go Axe Lord next. It's just such a huge percentage increase. I did the math in the first Dwarf campaign. I mean, it's basically, you know, like 50% more combat effectiveness or something insane like that. Whereas this is 24% more combat effectiveness. So that's good, but I think Axe Lord is better to start with. So Inspiring Presence. Gonna be a rebellion right here next turn, so that'll be fun. Pair that.
For the wisdom of the layer. Armed and ready.
So there's gonna be a rebellion over here.
I'm off. Master of Runecraft.
No, I want there to be a rebellion.
Burns bright.
Dang it. I could hire these guys. How much? They're a lot more than normal dwarves. And what is anti-infantry? How much anti-infantry? Plus 6. So be 3750 versus 2240. That's pretty good. And they deal fire damage. We'll chill on them for a little bit.
I do.
Now I'm actually gonna step out, and we're gonna take attrition doing that. But I can't. We'll go ahead and hire him, I guess, because I want to fight this rebellion next turn. Then that might give me enough of a public order boost to where I can get over here and take this conclave. You need to get to the capital as fast as possible in a lot of these provinces so that you know that's where the rebellion's going to spawn. Otherwise it'll spawn in these little places with no walls, and that's really annoying to try to deal with. So man, we might just have to have like a dwarf army in each little province. Little 8-stacker in each province. Let's go with growth. I mean, we need public order buildings and or corruption reducing buildings, which we don't have a ton of options. Just depends. I mean, the beer is really nice. The refectory. Tool makers. I mean, a lot of these places we're just going to go tool maker refectory. Now, the tool maker gives you 200 and the port also gives you 200, so you know, the port is basically a tool maker, but you do get 10 growth out of it, which is nice. So it's like you get a tool maker plus a little mini barley field. All rolled into one, so that's good, I guess. You can upgrade that to 400. That takes 3,500 to do it. This is 4,000, but you get 10 more growth. Whatever, it is what it is with the ports. I wish you got some kind of bonuses. A lot of factions will have, like, you get more money off of ports. But it looks like the Dwarves don't have that. Okay, Kraka Drak. All of this is ready to roll. Alright, bring out the rebellions. How are we looking on time here? I think we've still got about 15 minutes. Alright, here we go. Oh, dang. So they get some serious Chaos Warriors up in here. Yeah, I think we can beat them, but it might be a hard fight. We'll see. So these rebellions are going to be harder than like the normal Varg. I don't think Varg can get Chaos Warriors, and they're kind of a big deal at this juncture because they have so much armor. And silver shields, which is huge, because silver shields are so good against missile fire. It basically blocks 50% of the damage, not including their armor. And Quarrelers don't have very good armor piercing damage. So the Quarrelers are very good against... Now these guys, however, are very good. Like the Great Axe... Dwarfs with Great Axes are very, very good against Chaos Warriors. It's 22 armor piercing damage. So those Axe Lord is going to be very, very good with them. Because what happens is when you have great weapons, you have less... You don't have a shield, first of all. With every faction, anytime you see great weapons. Because these are two-handed weapons. So, and you're going to have less melee attack, so it's harder to hit because you're swinging two weapons. You're going to be a lot slower on the swing. But you deal a lot more armor-piercing damage because you can really just lay into them with a bit more strength. So that's good. And we do have some Longbeards also. So these guys should be able to do quite well against them. This will be a bit harder to deal with. I like this. This is going to be a fresh way to do some more Dwarves. I know people love Dwarves on the channel. I tried the Belagar campaign. It's okay. It's fine. But I really like... This really caught my attention because it seems like it'd be something that'd be super hard to pull off. Now, it can be tough for Dwarves to reposition. We gotta watch out for the dogs. Now the grudge throwers do have armor piercing, so it's nice to fire into the Chaos Warriors. Now the problem is once they get into melee combat, though, it's really hard to it's really hard to use them effectively because you might hit your own people. The trolls need to go.
It is a reckoning. Yes, I assassinating. Put those dwarven down. Go.
Let's fire on those right there. Okay, yeah, we're raining on them. They should be donezo here in a second.
For the ancestors. The clans unite. Nothing can stop us. Warriors. They have wronged us.
Let's go ahead and hold. Okay, I think they should all be done. Yeah, those silver shields ain't helping you against these quarrelers. I'm probably gonna have to fight them again, so I just want to try to kill as many as I can. Okay, I think we can't run anybody down until we get gyrocopters. Remember back in earlier patches, you could get gyrocopters at tier 3, which was pretty nice. Although, to be fair, that's a little early on something like that. Although, I don't know. I mean, the Wood Elves can get the Hawk Riders, and those are similar at tier 3. So I don't know why Dwarves have to wait till tier 4 for theirs, but Hawk Riders cost just as much or even more gold. I don't know. Like, the dwarf buildings are very restrictive. You can't get everything that you want in one town, which is... I mean, it's okay, but it's kind of annoying that you can't get, like, hammers and gyrocopters a lot in the same town. Or they make it really hard for you to do that. Ooh, Razored Standard's pretty nice. Taking that money. Wait. Winter Pyre. I thought the Bersaling or whatever camp was the place. Okay, yeah, yeah. Oh, he wasn't inside? Oh yeah, we'll beat him. What the heck? Let's do this. Alright guys, try to get the top of this. Now we want to use the garrison, obviously, if we can. Why are we not firing, guys? Come on, let's go. God, dwarves have such a hard time with, like, line of sight. I want these 100% into those trolls. As they deal extra, the fire damage will be pretty nice against them. Alright, can you shoot them now? You're right in their face. Oh god. Get out of there. Yeah, these fiery dwarves are lighting up those guys. Okay. Let's fan them out. Okay, that should give us a good little setup there. There we go. Yeah, shoot those trolls in the back. I mean, we're magic resistant, so I'm not as worried about it. I did some decent damage, but... Here are these Chaos Warriors. The silver shields are going to block quite a lot of it. But now that they turned around and they're fighting these guys, then we get to shoot them in the back. So that's pretty sweet. These guys are holding in there, beating up those hounds. Oh, what the heck? Is he just like sitting there chilling? Sleep around, boys. Oops. Need to get a bit more tactical here. I mean, how much magic does this dude have? Charge them in the back. That should make them run. I mean, they're trolls. They do not like getting charged in the back. Just trying to fire on the trolls. I am probably shooting a few of my people in the back, but The trolls are so tall, it makes it easy to hit them. Right there, right there. So these guys got a little dinged up, but they're okay. Mow down those Chaos Warriors. That's what I like to see. Okay, got their lord. It's good. I love that sound. Nah, we're not succumbing, boys. Y'all go get murdered. Y'all about to get murdered. Oh, fire on those, fire on those. We might move a bit faster than them if we're going downhill. Might be able to get back in. I really miss, like, with the elves being able to fire while running. Okay, we're not going to get them. You don't have a lot of speed and flexibility with dwarves until you get to those gyrocopters. They're the most important unit in the dwarf roster. I mean, the rangers can actually reposition a little bit faster, but nowhere near as fast as, like, the elves. Elf archers, just the bomb. Although quarrelers will poop on them straight up. Not like the low level archers, not the higher level stuff. Not like the Way Watchers, but just the fact that you have those armor and shields is a pretty big deal. Yeah, rebellions everywhere. It's like another rebellion next turn. God. Yeah, we just need that extra melee defense more than anything else. I mean, yeah, we're gonna be fighting a lot, like every turn, basically. So. And we're not going to be getting a lot of reinforcements out here. I forgot to use the standard, I think, last time. Maybe I didn't have the opportunity to even equip it. I don't remember. We're going to put it on normal dwarves because they have a higher melee attack than the great swords by a little bit. Actually, we're going to put it on... you want to put it on the people with the highest melee attack if you can. So we'll put it on them. Warrior Bane, what is that one? That's pretty decent. Oh, miners with blasting charges. Now those are cool because they have multiple shots, I think. Okay, good. That's actually really nice. We're gonna need a lot of Teller of Tales.
Summon me if you dare. It is time. Moving. What?
Yeah, so we gotta replenish a little bit. Do I want this guy to this unit? Oh, they're frenzied? That's awesome. Dang, those are actually really good. It says they're good against gates, but they don't count as siege attackers, which I guess is for balance reasons. But yeah, those are pretty sweet. I think this guy's gonna need the extra Regiment of Renown.
Vengeful Rune Lord.
This will be another rebellion over here next turn.
By the ancestor gods.
The legendary with these things is gonna be insane. Okay, I guess we have to fight him again. Straight up. They got another lord this time. Yeah, I think we could beat them. How did they end up with 11 trolls? I always focus fire the trolls, because trolls are very good against dwarves. I guess we'll fight them. And that's probably going to be it for the episode. Hopefully this episode doesn't last too long. I don't know how long we're at. We're probably over time. I would like for each one to last about an hour. This one's probably lasted way more than that. We're going to try to hold this territory as much as we possibly can. But yeah, I mean, it's a war of attrition, right? We are definitely going to get worn down pretty quickly. So we're definitely going to need the blasting charge people over here. We're going to get rich, and we're going to get a ton of levels, though. Well, relatively rich, off of fighting all these battles. We're going to get a lot of items, so we're going to be powered up, for sure, especially with the levels on our lords. I mean, where are they? Okay, here we go. No, don't care about Chaos Warriors. I care about these trolls. That's really the only unit. Those are really the only units that I really I'm gonna care about. Okay, let's get up here a little bit. No, I want... Those are my special ones. Yeah, these things are annoying. Line them up, lads. Alright, let's go ahead and shoot these now. Shooting them in the back. That's how you gotta do it. You know, try to position and get those, so, I mean, you can kind of slide around with your melee to get it to where you're shooting them in the back. A little melee trick. Actually, let's fan him out a little bit. Do the old firing squad action of this guy. Stun lock him, boys. So he's got his back exposed. Now, I am firing into my own guys a little bit here, but my guys have shields. We're probably good to go. Let's just hold fire on it. There we go. Actually, let's see if we can just light him up here. Get out of the way, boys. Probably not going to get him. He had quite a bit of health left. We'll just see how much we can weaken him, though. Alright, that's fine. These dwarves are getting kind of dinged up, but we can just rehire them back. They're a regiment of renown. I think regiments of renown have made the game a bit easier for a lot of campaigns. As you can just hire them on the spot, and they're like super powerful, and you can hire them anywhere. I've considered just not even using them, but I know people like seeing them in some of the other campaigns. Leadership's nice, but I just want money right now.
Heading out.
Dwarven tattooist, I like it.
Rune Lord. What do you want? I'll get on it. Can I help you?
Yeah, they're definitely gonna need these guys. We could global, but there's really no reason to do that. We're gonna have to come over here and start hiring pretty soon. Alright, so we're going to 50-50 with the tattoo artist. I mean, maybe getting that that anti-corruption stuff early on would be a good game plan. Shock trucking. I mean, we're gonna need another army so that we can actually move up here with this army. So another army is gonna have to come in to reinforce. So let's just hire another lord. It's gonna start getting expensive. I think I still want more runesmiths. I mean, not having the extra bonuses. I mean, enemy leadership is nice. The public order is kind of whatever. We can use him as our aggressive horde. So we can't do hammers. Does he have the He has mountaineering, which is really cheap. So you can't upgrade hammers and slayers, although like I said, we're not going to be using a lot of them. We're going to be using a lot of gyrocopters. Not a lot of gyrocopters, just like a handful. I mean, the majority of our damage is probably going to be range units. And I think having 25% damage on rangers and having the upkeep reduction is where you want to be with that. And we'll hire another runesmith. We'll get the ugly dude.
I'm ready. Iron Weld, master of runecraft.
We can use him as a mule to hand off units over here to reinforce, or we can hire him up and then move this guy up and use this guy to kind of bounce back and forth to reinforce areas. He doesn't... No, he doesn't get any extra stuff. Okay, let's hire.
I'll cast the runes.
We'll go for them, so they're cheaper. Now we need to save some money. How long is it before we have growth? 3 turns. So we're going to need to shift over to lowering this cost to save 320 here in a little bit. And that'll let us get the rangers. It says the Bugman's Brew. That requires brewery. We don't have a brewery. So we can't get the Bugman's Rangers here. I do like those. Like, yeah, they're not as accurate, but that extra regeneration is a big deal. Especially if you have to use them in hand-to-hand combat. Having that regeneration's nice. Okay. Well, that looks like that's going to be it for this turn. So yeah, we're gonna be gaining some territory, but it's going to be a lot of fights, and we're just going to have to slug our way through this. But once we get like more dwarven tattoo artists, and we can get the pure beard and stuff like that, and gain control of this area, I think we can eventually come out from under it. We'll see. Okay, we do have a couple of public order turns here, kind of recoup and regenerate. Although the dwarves don't replenish that much. Alright, so let's see what happens at the end. We're about to get the Ranger and Quarreler stuff. Oh no. So he gets to take a breather for like a couple of turns, and then we're going to have more rebellions. So there's going to be a rebellion over here soon. How are we looking on time? I mean, we're probably over, right? By quite a bit. Oh yeah, we're way over. Sorry about that. I didn't set my alarm. But you know what? First episode's not that bad. We got a lot of fights in. You can kind of see how it's going to go. We're just going to have to slug our way through all this. Once chaos shows up, or once scaling comes over here. Is there no scaling? Is it just all Varg? Just straight up. Maybe scaling's further over here. I don't know. But they're going to start sending a bunch of stuff at us. Hopefully we can play nice with Kislev. They do like that we're beating down Varg right now. At least a little bit. But we'll do some more next episode. So thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed it. This should be a treat. It should be really hard. As soon as Chaos shows up, I mean, they're going to be right here. Just walk right up to us, pretty much, and try to fight. So we're going to have to try to get some upgrades here if we can. Like, we'll probably have to get a watch room. Maybe a level 2 watch room. I'm not really sure. We'll see. But yeah, we're definitely going to have to try to get some kind of defenses here. And it's going to be rough. You can only get to a tier 3 here? Interesting. Okay, so even though it's a capital, it treats it like it's a normal place. So it's not even going to have walls. Right? Or does it have walls? I just noticed that. Dwarf outpost, minor settlement, minor settlement. Adds walls. Yeah, so we don't even have walls yet. So that's how they attacked me on turn 1. That's why I was kind of confused. I was like, how'd they attack me on turn 1? But it's because this place can't have walls. Is this the same thing? Over here, it's a minor settlement. I can't really see. Obviously, these two are. It's going to be interesting if there are no major settlements. Obviously, Kraka Drak's a major settlement. So we can go tier 5 there. I mean, tier 4 is really where the dwarves get their action. And I really want this Master Engineer for some of the buffs that he gives. But, anyways, thank you very much. We'll figure it out next time. Hopefully you enjoy it. This should be quite a challenging dwarf campaign. So hopefully we can do well on it. So, thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you next time.